I can definitely tell you that conditions have gotten worse. We were at Grand Haven State Park during our daybreak show. There was no snow coming down, but there were really high winds. Those winds, as you can see, are continuing with the snow now coming down pretty hard here. Terry Scamper is feeling incredibly lucky this morning. He has lived in this house in Holland for almost 50 years, and now he's dealing with the aftermath of last night's storms. Now, from the front, the damage does not look too bad, but when you come around to his backyard, you can see exactly what he's dealing with. An entire tree uprooted has fallen right on his roof. Earlier tonight, MSU interim president Teresa Woodruff said at that press conference, today is a day of shock and heartbreak. And for the families of the 5 victims recovering here at Sparrow Hospital, as well as the loved ones of those 3 people killed, that statement could not be more accurate. One of the first things that students will notice when they get onto campus are words of encouragement scattered all throughout campus. You see some various things here showing their support and encouragement, letting them know that the Spartan community is in this together. I'm not usually afraid of heights, but I'm a little bit shaky right now. I'm with Terry up here in the bucket of Consumers Energy truck. He says that we're probably maybe about 30 feet in the air, but I know this thing can go higher. The show of support started early here yesterday with fellow deputies and other officers rallying outside the hospital in a show of support and to honor Deputy Proxmire. And people came out and laid flowers in his honor. They played worship music and offered up their prayers. Joseph Ivory never would have imagined the devastation that could come with a knock on the door.
I thought the banging that I seen on the door, or heard on the door, I thought that was my son. I told my daughter, I said, go get the door for my son. Go get the door for your brother.
He didn't find his son on the other side of the door, but rather 3 police officers.
First thing they said to me was, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. What do you mean you're sorry? What do you mean you're sorry? What's going on? He said, I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry, sir. Your son is gone. Your son has passed away.
16-year-old Joseph Ivory Jr. leaves behind a 10-month-old son, his family describing him as smart and motivated. Although his family knows he'll carry on Ivory's legacy, his father says he should be carrying on his.
I should never bury my son. I am almost 70 years old. I'm almost 70 years old, and my son was only 16 years old. And I just...
The details surrounding Ivory's death are limited. Grand Rapids police saying officers were called to a crash scene near the intersection of Blaine Avenue Southeast and Boston Street around 12:01 a.m. That's where they found the boy with a gunshot wound. First responders tried to save him, but he didn't make it. His father says Joseph had his ways, but he simply got caught up with the wrong people.
My son wasn't a real bad guy. He wasn't a violent guy. He was never a violent guy. I'm just sorry that my son had to go the way he went.
As police continue to search for answers, a desperate plea from a grieving father.
Whoever took my son's life, will you please come forward? Will you please come forward? Thanksgiving looks different for thousands of families in Benton Harbor, but for one I spoke with, they say it's a challenge, but they're making the most of it.
We hardly even use it.
The faucet isn't running in the Clay household this Thanksgiving.
I mainly use these for cooking.
It's a system.
We pretty much got a routine. We pretty much got that down pat.
That Bobby Clay and her kids know all too well.
Unfortunately, we got a routine because we know the waters to use for different things.
And it's no different today.
For the health of it, we know we got to do it this way.
This Thanksgiving, they're getting through it together.
Just being a team, like, you know, because my children are big enough to help me cook, and they're excited about helping to cook for the holiday. And so we basically already know how to use this water.
Clay has lived in Benton Harbor for 40 years, but the past year has looked much different. Empty jugs fill her home, and the sound of running water isn't common. But her biggest frustration, the cost.
It's just that the money I'm being out of for the water. You know, to have clean, fresh water for us to drink and cook with and stuff like that.
But today, she is choosing to focus on the good, and that includes having a full house and a full plate.
For the first time, my 16-year-old, he brined and bake the turkey.
Her kids already stepping up to not only help their mom, but their community.
Every day we're busy doing something positive. Me and the children do a lot in the community. They're on the Benton Harbor Water Council. They help pass out water, serve food.
If you're wondering how she stays so positive.
All because of God.
And even through the challenges.
Something is going to be done about this water system real soon.
Clay says it's God's blessings that keep her going.
That's the main thing I'm thankful for. You know, friends, family, and loved ones, you know.
The state is aiming to replace all lead pipelines here in Benton Harbor in the next 18 months. Reporting in Benton Harbor, Brittany Flowers, News 8. Not much compares to the aroma of homemade baked goods.
The magic happens when you put one of those pieces in your mouth.
This is Gordon Willis, but in Portage.
He is known as the fudge guy.
At 92 years old, he might not remember where the recipe came from or even when exactly he started making fudge.
As a matter of fact, I don't remember a lot of things that I used to be able to remember.
But he does know why he started.
I try to put fudge where people need to know that they're loved and that they're wanted and that they are serving a real, a real good purpose for us.
That includes his church, hospitals, the neighbors, and the Portage Department of Public Safety.
For about 7 years of my 10, I've worked night shifts, so if I'm lucky enough, there may be a couple pieces of fudge left after day shift is through with it.
The support Willis has shown for the police department certainly does not go unnoticed, especially for Officer Michael Schumacher.
Last time he came in, he had not had his cane, and he had mentioned he had lost it.
Without hesitation, Schumacher stepped up to help.
I went and bought the cane at a local medical facility here, and then thought because he's supported us so much to make it a little special and try to get it a little pizzazz.
Boy, I tell you, that's not just a cane. If I would have been able to, I would have done a jig. But I didn't, my feet don't work like they used to.
Despite the challenges that come with getting older.
I'm just so thankful that I have what capabilities I have today.
And although he's witnessed a lot of change over the years, one thing that stays the same is his appreciation for those around him. So Willis will continue doing what Willis does best.
I hope to continue making fudge right up till the good Lord calls me home.